So I thought I'd show you a problem I just ran into that might be interesting. In order to finish working on the fuel tank here, which is under the front seat, I had to remove the bolts that hold the front seat. And this one here just twisted right off, is all rusted in and twisted right off. And I thought I would go back over and explain how I fixed it, or how I managed to get the stub of the broken bolt out. First thing I did was use this drill here. Hopefully the light's kind of shaky in here. Use this drill, which I measured the size of the bolt. It's an M8 with 1.25 millimeter thread pitch. I used this about a 7, it's a little under 7 millimeter drill bit to basically drill out the stub. And let me go over here. And then I use this tap here to basically reclaim the threads. It's a little loose, but it's going to work. And as long as we're at it, I thought I would go through my little arsenal of things that I do when bolts are rusted and don't come out. And of course, the first thing I do is try penetrating oil. Everybody's got their favorite. I can't really tell the difference between them all. They're all more or less the same. Sometimes WD-40 is just as good as anything else. But the one thing I would add is time is your friend, so the longer you leave it sit, the penetrating oil, the better your chances are. So the second thing I'll try is, if the bolt's big enough, I'll try this impact wrench. So a little bit of this, wait a while, and a little bit of that. That works a lot of the time. Sometimes when you twist the head of a bolt off, I can get these things to work. This is called a screw extractor set. And basically how it works is you drill a pilot hole in the broken off stub. And there's a size gauge here for each of the sizes, the size of the hole to use. And then you take this thing and you drive it in the hole, and then you can put a wrench to it, and sometimes you can get the stump out. Maybe, for me, half the time, something like that. If you've got a bolt head where you've rounded the edges off, or somebody has come before you and rounded the edges off, I've got this bolt out damaged bolt nut remover set. This sometimes works. And what you do, if you look at these things, is it has basically it has a set of sharp edges that'll grab onto even a rounded over bolt, and sometimes then that will work. It'll take a bite even though it's rounded off. And the last thing I thought I would say is that I think 6-point sockets are a lot better deal than the 12-point sockets for rusted bolts. So I tend to use the 6-point set whenever I can. And I promised somebody I would post this video, but so basically to go over it one last time, the strategy is penetrating oil, impact wrench. They make electric ones now, which I don't own, but I imagine that would be really nice. Screw extractor set if you do break the head off of a bolt and you need to get the stub out. A bolt out these damaged bolt nut remover sets. Go ahead and focus there. And if that doesn't work, and for this case where we just showed you, none of that worked, I'll actually just drill it out and then re-tap it with, the same size if I can, or the next size bigger if I can't.